Everybody, I just want to pick up from my last video yesterday a little bit from where I've been and what I want to do. It's like, because we all have a past, we all have a history to some degree, and where I come from, I fell into drugs and alcohol, and that was at a very young age. So I lived a lot of my life doing that sort of thing, just doing what I thought was called fun, running away from, I guess, reality, because those things made me feel a whole different sort of way about myself. And I just chased that for a lot of my younger life. I didn't realize it was like no good for me until it started like taking stuff away from me, like dreams and aspirations. I remember one time my dad said, whenever I got sober, which was 10 years ago, 2014, he was like, I remember you would always say stuff about things you wanted to do, but you'd never do them, and now you're actually doing them. And that stuck with me. And then so I went into the career field that I'm in now, which is vinyl extrusion. I've been doing that for probably about 8 years, I want to say. 8 or 9 years, probably about 8 years. And I just really been focused on like being as successful as I can doing what it is I learned. Anywhere I really went, I had a drive and a passion, but I just couldn't hang on to it. Wasn't reliable, wasn't dependable, so I would always quit or get fired. And I've been in this field for, like I said, about 8 years now, and I'm making a decent living for myself, something I never thought would be possible for me, because I only have a high school education. So I just remember, like, growing up, my dad, he would always, be fearful of like not paying bills and, bumming money from me to help pay some of the bills or fix something that happened, like a vehicle breaking down and stuff like that. So I just remember that kind of fear of responsibility, like being driven into me as a child. It's like, man, if my dad can't make it, like I'm not going to be able to make it, So I had that fear like driven into me as a child. And then growing up, I was always told, like, I can't, you can't do that because I can't afford it, or I don't have the time because, my dad, he worked a lot of overtime to try to provide what kind of life he could for us with the knowledge that he had. So, I really had no positive role model, I guess. And what I got from my dad, was, if you want anything in life, you got to work for it, and I thank him for that, because that eventually came to in my life whenever I got sober, because I put that same drive that I had to get a drink or a drug into work. I worked a lot of overtime. I worked really hard. Anything I did it to my best, in this field, and it's taken me somewhere. Also, I don't want to leave that, God helped me out also, because I've been in two different facilities, or two different companies in this field. And if I would have stayed with the first one, I don't think I'd make it where I am today. And the place that I'm with today reached out through Indeed, and we negotiated a little bit, and they gave me an offer that I couldn't pass up. So I took that, and I've just been putting that same kind of drive into my work, and learning when I can. The people that have been there longer, I try to take what kind of information from them or knowledge from them that I can to apply it to what it is that I'm doing, or what I want to do, or what I can do inside, the field. Yeah, times are rough, and there's good days, bad days, but I was taught through a 12-step program that I work that just suit up and show up. There's a lot of things that we don't want to do in life, but it's better if you just show up, suit up. It means put your game face on, show up, just do what you can, be in there, and I apply that to my life, my work ethic, and my program that I work. For the most part, I never say no to something I'm asked for, or asked to do, should I say. So goes a long way. My brother jokes around saying that the program's for quitters, and it's true, but it's a good quit. I didn't want to live that life anymore. It was only taking things from me. And what made me realize that what I was doing wasn't good, other than it taken from me, because I didn't really care about myself too much at that time, is whenever it affected other people in my life that I cared about, that I was able to see that it wasn't just impacting me, it was impacting people around me. And it took a close friend for me to realize that, because I put a lot of stuff at jeopardy, for him and his family. So it started there, and then it just had a positive, good snowball effect ever since, for the most part. I have struggles still today, but I have tools that I'm able to use to work through, and people that I can call and talk to that could help guide me in the right direction, rather than me thinking my own way through it, because not all my thoughts are clear thoughts. So whenever I realized it was impacting other people than myself, it was crazy, because doing what I did, and for my friend to still be able to forgive me and help me after that, is just a sense of gratitude that I can't even begin to explain. Because I told him one time, I was like, I don't even know if I could forgive somebody the way that you did, if somebody did something like that to me, you know what I mean? Just as a spiritual experience that I can't explain, because it pulled me out of my selfishness, because I've always been selfish, growing up. It's always been about me. And so I was taught to think about others, try to help others. So I try to do that whenever I can. I got led into the fire department in the community I'm at, so I lightly volunteer there when I can and have the time, because I said, I do work a lot of overtime, and I do other outside stuff after work, so my time is limited. But I just try to do what I can, where I can, when I can, and yeah, it's just been an amazing journey. So I'm just going to start with that, I believe. I just want to throw it out there that it's possible to live a life that you don't think is possible for you. Being where I'm at in my life, in the field that I'm in, for as long as I have, I see a lot of people come in, you know, some of them don't even work hard, some do, but, same time, like they're both getting paid like a starting amount, because we all got to start somewhere. So like I tell them, it's like I worked as hard as you, where you're at. I didn't just come into this field and get where I am. It took me 8 years, to build wisdom, a little bit of knowledge, skill. You're building a skill. It takes time, to build up everything to take it to the next level. Like you're building yourself for the next step, building yourself. Like you don't just come in at the top, especially if you don't have any degrees or, stuff like that. Or if it's a field, like a labor field, because like you learn that stuff hands-on. There is no going to school and learning about it. You get in there, they pay you their bottom pay, what they can, because they don't know if we're gonna stay. They don't know, what kind of intentions you have. Like I know I wasn't sure if I was staying and doing it when I first got into it. I was actually fearful. I didn't know if I was gonna make it because there's a lot of stuff to learn, and there's so many opportunities that can stem off of starting somewhere, in vinyl extrusion. Is it something that I want to do for the rest of my life? Probably not, especially it being like laborious, like I was saying in my last video, like my body is beat. Like I eventually would like to get out of beating up my body and just being able to pick up another skill or work on another part of my life that could maybe help provide for myself. And not so much myself, but like if I ever got like extra income, like even with what I'm making now, I help out the people that I can, and yeah, it's just I want to start to use my brain and my words a little bit more than my body, I guess I'm trying to say, because my body's only going to be able to take so much before it really starts breaking down. So I don't know, I've been trying to look around, search for like passive income, ways that I can make money, work for money, but you got to have money for it to even get started, and there's opportunities for that out there. There's resources, should I say, so I'm just like studying as much as I can, like, and real estate, that's one of the things I thought of, but got to have money to get started, because everybody wants involved in that, so it doesn't come cheap. So that kind of like set me back on that a little bit, because I'd have to find them resources, and then talking to a person inside there that knew a lot. I guess there's only certain ways you can get like resources also, like they only allow certain ways. So I don't know, I gotta look further into that, and then there's other things too. Like, I don't know, my brain just goes crazy with like ideas, I want to pick something that I can start putting action towards, but it's not, I don't want to say it's not an easy thing to do, but it's maybe it might be fear a little bit, of some things like failing, but in the end, like as long as I do like one little step at a time, I'll just chip away at it until something works. And then if it doesn't work, then that just means that that's not what I'm doing. I'm to go on to the next thing. So, and that's where this came along, because, I had a past of alcohol and drugs. I wasn't in some good places, you know, and one of those places that I was in was, you know, county jail. And whenever I was spending some time in there, I remember writing down a lot of things that I wanted to do, you know, and one of them was, you know, make a documentary of my sobriety, giving a little bit of like what it was like before I got sober, and then having that documentary throughout my sobriety. But I never did that. Why? I don't know. Maybe then it was just a fleeting thought, you know. So I guess it's coming back around like 8 years or 10 years later. Yeah, because I got sober in 2014, May 25th, 2014 is my sober date, so sobriety date. So I've been clean and sober since then, and that is a miracle in itself, because like I'm 37 right now. Well, I'll be 38, but it's just with the mindset I was in, I didn't think I was going to make it to my 30s. And I got sober whenever I was 26, 5 days before my 27th birthday. I don't know if I should have put that in there, but it is what it is. So it's been a journey so far, you know, a lot of ups and downs, but you know, as long as I keep plugging at it, doing what I need to do, doing the next right thing, you know, helping others along the way when I can, where I can, you know, I'm going to have an okay life. And if it helps other people along the way, I'm grateful for that. So I just have been on this edge of just feeling like I need to do more, do something with those dreams that I've been sitting on for like ever, because I've been just focusing on the things I could put my, you know, get my hands on, like the labor that I've been doing, like something to have my hands in. So I just been focusing on that. And then like I got to a point where like, you know, I'm doing pretty good, but like I don't want to say that I'm not satisfied, but it's like, you know, I just have this pull like inside me that's telling me that there's more out there, you know. And I don't want to fall into complacency. You know, same routine, same thing, you know, same problems, same this, same that, you know, until I'm like beat up, worn out, and then can't even work anymore. And I didn't do anything with it other than like help a company, you know. I wanna do something that's gonna help others, you know. And anytime you could do that, anytime I've done that, helped other people, you know, I've always had a good feeling about myself. And yeah, you know, I would I don't want to get too technical on you, but you know, I say I'm dual diagnosed. You know, I have the addiction, and then I have like the mental health things on top of that. You know, back whenever I was a kid, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and then as I got older, I was diagnosed with MDD, which is major depression disorder. You know, so I don't know if that's one that sticks with you forever, but you know, I feel it. You know, and I do what I got to get through it. I wouldn't say I'm anti-medicine, you know, because I do use medicines for like headaches or, you know, that kind of sort of thing. But, you know, I was forced to take medicine as a child for the ADHD. So like, it's hard for me to go back to that, you know, because then, I don't know, I just would hate having to remember to take one every day or whatever. And and I've tried medicines before, and I was never on them really long because you start getting those side effects, and I hate the side effects. I want to be the way God made me to be, you know, and I don't want to have other substances like, you know, medications to help with the brain chemistry or how the brain works, or a mood stabilizer or anything like that. Like, this is how God made me, you know, and this is how, you know, I want to be. Like, I want to be how God made me. I don't want to be anything else, you know. And I could also say the same for like emotions, because they do the same thing too. It's the way I was made. Well, we're all made, you know, with fears and worries and, you know, moods and emotions. But like sometimes, like, I have like an extremist kind of personality, you know, like anything I do that I like, I do it to the extreme. So, I don't know. So if I like get sad or mad, I've been doing good with the mad stuff, like anger. Like, it gets to me, but I don't let it get explosive. So, I mean, that's positive right there. And yeah, I'm grateful for that, because that used to be pretty destructive in itself also. So I've learned to, you know, not let it get to a boiling point to where I explode. I kind of like let it out as it's like bothering me or whatever, you know. And like with the depression thing, I talk through it, you know, I pray about it, you know, I try to do, for me, you know, God, Jesus, he's in my life, you know. I talk to him a lot, you know, because they say it's important to have a higher power, you know, something other than myself, other than yourself. So, you know, it's always been Jesus for me. I've always, you know, had the faith of Christianity. And talking about faith, I didn't know what faith was until I've seen it work from like an outside perspective. I thought faith was just believing in something, but for me, faith is believing in something that you can't see maybe at that moment happening. So like being able to actually see that moment or moments, because I've had multiple moments of like spiritual experiences that, you know, whenever I get into those dark states, like where I don't feel like I'm good enough or whatever it may be, you know, something didn't go my way, you know, with how I thought it would be, whatever, like just, I guess it'd be called rejection, being turned down, with any kind of like opportunity or outcome for a situation. But whenever I would get into that state, you know, I just know that it's in God's hands, you know, that it's not up to me what happens, you know, as long as I put the action forth for shooting for a goal or something that I think I, you know, might want, or want to do, that the outcome is in his hands, you know, because if I'm like turned down or said no to or rejected, you know, by an opportunity, you know, that's only him telling me that he's got something better, you know, that I wasn't meant to be doing that at that place, you know. So, I can get into more of that in another video, but I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm just going to give you a little bit of my story, you know, little tidbits that'll, you know, build, and who knows, because I don't. I just know that I want to let you know that you're not the only one, you know, and if my story can help somebody else, you know, turn their life around or their mindset to want to do something that maybe they think they can't, or, you know, they're not able to, you know, I hope that I can be some kind of building block, you know, something that somebody that you can relate to, and then be like, you know, if he can do it, I can do it type scenario, you know. So yeah, like I said, my New Year's resolution is to post a video on YouTube a day, giving little tidbits about whatever, you know, wherever the conversation takes us, you know. So if I might end up repeating myself a good bit of times, you know, but it's okay, you know. It's my story, and you have yours. So, you know, just trying to pass on, you know, positivity, hope, and love, man, because, you know, we all need it, even though sometimes we think we don't, you know. So, all right, till next time, guys. Good talk.